It is a big year for Apple, the biggest in a while. First with iOS 26, which we leaked months early, and soon with an entirely new lineup of iPhones. And one of these iPhones looks vastly different than the others. So different, in fact, this year, that it deserves one of Apple's most prestigious monikers coined by Steve Jobs himself. Air. Let's get the obvious one out of the way, right? It's stunning. You see, there's a weird spot in the middle of the iPhone lineup every year that Apple uses to throw spaghetti at the wall just to see what sticks. They tried the mini spaghetti, they tried the plus spaghetti, and this year, it's the thin one. iPhone angel hair. And you know what? I think there's a pretty good chance this one does stick. For some reason, this just feels more dramatic. It feels like a Hail Mary. An ultra-thin iPhone, almost thinner than you could wrap your brain around. Just looking at renders and watching videos, it's 5.5 millimeters thick, or thin, however you want to look at it, but that's still hard to comprehend just how it's going to feel in your hand. And you just know they're going to waltz up on stage and call it the thinnest iPhone we've ever created. But also, I'm going to call it now, this is going to be the best-selling iPhone over the first 12 months of release. We have reached a point where most people, most users are best served by a base model iPhone. If you look at Apple's entire user base, those people, there's nothing they're trying to do on their iPhone that the base model iPhones can't do. So forget the Pros this year, even though they're getting an updated look too, which we also leaked. This thin iPhone Air is going to be the iPhone to have. Status and appearance are what's most important in the mainstream market. And the iPhone Air, well, it's going to have both. It's going to look so dramatically different that your friends will be able to look at it and say, hey, is that the new iPhone? Can I hold it? And in the real world, a moment like that matters more than how many cameras it has. I know it's very surface level and silly, but the mainstream market is surface level and silly. Even I will be going with the iPhone Air this year, even though, yes, it only has that one 48 megapixel sensor on the back. And listen, I don't know how you could be disappointed or mad about it only having one camera. Where would you even fit more? Where would you put another one? Go ahead. Don't worry. I'll wait. There is no room in this phone. There's barely enough room for a battery. This thing is just running off of vibes, bro. It's so thin that even the USB-C port on the bottom is closer to the back of the phone than it is the display, which I'm sure won't drive me crazy one bit. No, sir. Won't bother me, not at all. Okay, but for real, all jokes aside, you might be worried about battery life. And you should be, but Apple will be doing all they can to optimize and compensate for the lack of phone to put battery in. With things like a more efficient Apple design modem, the C1, that'll help, more efficient A-series chip, of course, and perhaps a higher density battery that uses silicon anode tech. What the hell? Whatever that is, will give this thing the best chance it's got to last 30 minutes on a hot day. Despite its lack of girth, we actually shouldn't expect this phone to underperform too much in the way of battery compared to the typical base model iPhone performance. But you know what is girthy? That's right, today's sponsor, Ugreen. We'll talk more iPhone Air after today's sponsor break. Don't skip any of it, or else. Now, where the hell? Oh, hey! There you are. Sorry, I'm always losing stuff. That's why this is an ad for the Ugreen Smart Finder. This Smart Finder can be placed in or on anything you need to keep track of and see it right inside of Apple's native Find My app. That's right, Ugreen has these puppies Find My certified. You can connect up to 32 finders at once and share across 5 devices. Now listen, I love this, but this? Well, this is my new favorite thing. Yes, this is a smart finder too. This 1.7 millimeter slim finder fits directly into my wallet because number one, I always lose it, and number two, I got tired of carrying around a wallet with a giant AirTag sticking out the side. Track your items anywhere in the world with global tracking, and when a lost item is close, these puppies can pump out a sound up to 80 decibels. Huh, wonder where it is. This is officially my favorite tracker of all time. Ugreen makes these trackers so affordable, but being able to track and not lose your valuable items, well, that's priceless. Go buy them. Link in the description below. All right, let's talk display. About that. 6.6 inches, which is bigger than average. Some would say huge and impressive. So big, it hurts. 120 hertz, that is. Finally, I could cry. It seems like this is the year where Apple is finally ditching 60 hertz displays, which means that this is the year I can finally stop hearing about how Apple is ripping people off with the display refresh rate that normal people don't even care about, but you do, so you complain in my comment section as if I can do anything to fix it. If you want to talk more about the inside, how about the RAM? We're talking the same amount of RAM as a Samsung Galaxy phone from the year 2011. It's got 12 gigabytes in there, which, good news, is perfect. That means it'll work with Apple Intelligence, which is just the best. It's so good. My God, so good. Inside, you'll also find the A19 chip, not an A19 Pro, and that will matter a whole 0%. You're welcome. Now, the chip brings me to the most important point of this whole thing, which is probably price. We heard initially that this phone is going to be the most expensive iPhone ever and of the year at around $1,300, which naturally sent the internet into an entire meltdown. That is not happening though, so for the 18th time, this is replacing the Plus model, and it will be priced as such. More expensive than the base model, of course, but still less than the new iPhone 17 Pro. I fully expect for this phone to do very well, and when it does, prepare to see Apple double down on a more simplistic iPhone just like this one. This selling well will prove that most consumers are perfectly happy with a phone that has a single camera on the back, so long as the camera is good. And cutting down on cameras cuts down on Apple's second biggest production cost after the display. I've said before that phones of the past started to introduce more cameras to pick up the slack and compensate for the main sensor that just couldn't do it all. And though megapixels don't mean everything, with 48 megapixels to work with here, that gives a lot of room for computational photography, computational cropping, turning that single lens into something that resembles, well, not a single one. It's around this time of the year where mass production is just around the corner. So what you heard in this video is just about exactly what you can expect. Minus, however, Apple decides to sprinkle marketing juice all over it. They'll probably make it sound like it was almost impossible to make an iPhone this thin. And if you don't want the thin one, oh boy, do the pros pack a punch this year. But don't worry, we'll talk about those ones in the next video.